Hello, Orinoco here. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm on your screen right now. Well, apart from the obvious, which is that you've clicked on the video, obviously, I'm here because I'm in the middle of trying to get this Kyosho DBX2 to be drivable again. If you've been watching before, you would have seen that I got this buggy. The engine was not a lot of cop. I ended up with a different block with good bearings, liner and piston installed already. Second hand, obviously. I put it together in the last video, which actually was today. I filmed it today. Literally, I filmed it, got it all going. I was so happy with myself. I went indoors and made a cottage pie. I was so happy I had to celebrate. I sat down with the family, ate the cottage pie, and then relaxed for a little while. And then all the kids were doing all their stuff and bits and bobs, and they said, go away, Dad, go away. Okay. The wife's watching Depression Street, as I like to call it, otherwise known as Coronation Street. So I thought to myself, let's come out here and let's do the rest of this. I'll tell you what I've got to do. What I've got to do, I've got to put a receiver in it, a battery, obviously. But we determined that the clutch was no good in the first video, but then in the second video, obviously, it was still the same. I didn't change it. So I've got this one that I reckon I can jammy dodger it on there. I was looking everywhere for the exhaust gasket. I got some exhaust gaskets. I know I've got some exhaust gaskets. They're somewhere. A box of them. Not a box, but a tin of exhaust gaskets. I managed to find not the ones I was looking for, but I found some other ones. HPI ones. But they're the ones I want. There's 3 of them in there. And I only want 1. So they should fit. So I've got the gaskets. I've got the clutch. I hopefully will fit. With the spring as well. I've got a receiver and I've got a bat tray. Everything I need to get that buggy driving. So hopefully with any luck, you're going to want to come and join me while I do all that. If not, I'll see you another day. But hopefully you will come along and join me. So let's go and have a look, shall we? I reckon that's a good idea. So let's do first things first, I suppose. Let's have a little look at the clutch. I don't know if these servos are going to be any good either, but let's get the mechanical stuff out of the way. Let's do the clutch, and then when we put the engine back in, we'll do the gasket. And then once the engine's in with a clutch that works, hopefully, then we'll put the receiver in. The receiver's somewhere. There's a receiver. It's a Fly Sky receiver. Should be okay. Pretty sure it's a good one. And a battery. Where's the battery? There's a battery, and I've got a battery there. So they're all ready to go in. So we'll do that after. Let's do the clutch. So for that, what we need to do, we've got nitro in the tank, so I'll take that off. It's always a pain when I've got nitro in the tank because it always goes bloody everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. But that's just the name of the game. The name of the game is make a mess. If you're making a mess, well, at least you're doing something. At least you're trying if you're making a mess. If you're not making a mess, are you really trying? I mean, are you really trying if you're not making a mess? I think the answer to that, to be honest, is no. You're not, are you? No, you're not. You've got to be making a mess. And I always make a mess. A bloody mess. Believe it or not, I don't like mess. I try not to make any mess at all. But I always end up making a mess, and then I'm like, oh, for God's sake, bloody mess everywhere. Yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, my friends. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Even Johnny Boy knows that. And Johnny Boy knows nothing. Right, let's take that screw out of there and put that somewhere over there where I'm going to lose it. And we'll put that one over there as well, where I'll also lose it, but that's alright. There's a lot of nitro coming out the bottom of this engine. Something tells me I hope we haven't got a funny seal on this engine as well, you know, because the other one, see what happens is, and not that I care, I mean, I've still got plenty, I've got an engine that runs fine like it, but I'll tell you what happens is when the bearings go, the seal goes, and you get a lot of leakage out of it, and that's what happens. But do we care about that? I mean, you know, you have to ask yourself the question, do you care? And a lot of the time, the answer that you'll find when you ask yourself that question, do you care? The answer will be no. No, you don't care. Because I can tell you, for a fact, I don't care either. No, I don't. So that's where we're going to leave it. Right, so what we're going to do, we've got small clutch shoes on here at the moment. Bloody hell, we've got a bit of a mess going on. Quick, mop it up, make a mess while you're at it, lose all the screws. That's it, well done. Right, we've got a bit of what we've got going on. Let's see, here we've got the small shoes on here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to jam these big ones on because it's all I've got. All right, I know, you don't have to tell me. Why don't you replace it for the same one? Well, I'm not going to, all right? I'm replacing it for these ones, all right? They're the same kind of thing. Hopefully the pins will line up because sometimes they don't. And if they don't, they should do. I reckon they're going to line up. And they're the same. It's the same size. Yeah, we should be good with this. Sometimes they don't. And I know some of you are going to go, no, they're all the same. All toe shoes are the same. The pins are all the same. And that's total rubbish. Not all of them. So most of them probably are, but not all of them. So you have to remember they're not all the same. And I'm hoping that these are going to fit. I'm hoping that one goes on there, all right. That one goes in there. Yes. My golly gosh, we've done it, Jimmy boy. Jimmy boy. Yes, look at that. That's working. You can't see him bloody out of shot. What a cock. Yep, that's working. That's going out. Oh, don't want to break it. And that's working. That's going out. Now the spring might be a little bit too loose for this engine. This clutch is meant for a bit of a lesser engine, a less powerful engine. So we might find, assuming the bell goes over it, it does. We might find that this clutch engages, so the shoes fly out, because the way the clutch works, when the engine's running, the flywheel is spinning, centrifugal force, some of you call it centrifugal. Look, it's all down to the way people say things. I think Americans and all that say centrifugal. Over here in England, we say centrifugal, okay? It's just the way we pronounce things. Centrifugal force, or centrifugal. Whatever way you want to say it, I don't really care. So, centrifugal force pulls these shoes out, and obviously the pivoting point is the two pins there. Doesn't matter whether you've got these smaller shoes or these larger shoes here, it works in the same way. With the smaller shoes, obviously the springs are within the shoe and you can take them out and you can adjust the different types of spring. Those springs come out of there. That one's not going to come out because where this one's worn so much, it's actually worn the spring away, as you can probably see there, and the spring's now part of the shoe. But ooh, what the hell's that? But yeah, so that's how they work. So we might find that the spring that goes around this, as you can see there, is not heavy enough or strong enough to keep the shoes in at low RPM. So it might be trying to engage on tick over, but we don't know until we try. That's the name of the game. Try. Now this bearing on here, I meant to put a bit of oil on it last time, but I forgot. So we'll get a little bit of, we'll use this oil out of this oil can, and all it is 1040. So we'll use a little bit of 1040 oil. Could use 3-in-1, but we're using a bit of 1040 because I quite like 1040. Why not? Everyone likes a bit of 1040, and I like a bit of 1040. So we'll put a bit of 1040 on there. Wheel it up. If it's good enough to go inside an engine, it's good enough to go on a... Oh, that's not right, is it? It's good enough to go on a clutch bell bearing as far as I'm concerned. Nobody likes an oily bell end, but when you get an oily bearing, that's what you want. So we'll do that up. Oh my giddy aunt, that is absolutely perfect. Probably could get better. Right. So now we can move all those out of the way. Put those in the bin. That needs to go back up on the shelf. Now we need to bring back said car. Hello car, how are you? Glad to hear it. Let's mop up that and we can see if we're going to get any more leakage. I think quite a bit of that leakage was from the exhaust manifold not having a gasket, to be fair. Are you still zoomed in? For goodness sake, don't you not know anything? Very important. Have a quick sip of my drink. Because what always happens is I come out here with a nice warm beverage and then I forget about it. And then when I remember about it, I'm going to have a sip of it. It's bloody freezing cold. So I must remember. I've been saying to myself, remember to drink your drink. Remember to drink your drink. Okay, I will remember. Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that. Now, where are the screw holes? I'm trying to do it without pouring the nitro out because the lid on the fuel tank is half open because I've got the fuel line going in the top of it. As you can probably see, you don't need me to explain. Yeah, I'm trying not to pour it all out, which is why I'm a little bit cock-handed. There you go. I'm just a numpty on YouTube that doesn't know what he's doing, remember. So you must remember that. Oh, bloody hell. And I bet I can't feel my bloody hands. It's becoming a bit of a problem now. I probably should go to the doctors, to be fair. But, bloody hell. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. Right. Let's do that up. And that last one. Like that. Bloody blimey, Johnny boy. If your name's Johnny boy, put it in the comments. Tell me your name. That'd be hilarious. All these times I'm looking for Johnny boy and you're right there. Right, Johnny boy. Let's do this screw up. Now this screw's being a bit funny. I don't want to do up. Bloody hell. I've got nitro all over the place. I've got oily hands, oily screwdriver. Let's recuperate, shall we? Sometimes you have to stop and you have to reset because everything's going tits up. Right. God's sake. For the love of... Right. Let's do that one up. I don't know why they put bloody Phillips head screws in these things. I mean, you know, either bolts or Allens are best, or even studs. I mean, why don't they put studs in them? You know, studs in the bottom of the block, and then you just put a nut on it. That would be... Well, I don't know why they ain't done that. If I made a nitro car, I probably would. That's probably what I would do, because you could still have elongated holes in the chassis, so you can adjust it, you know. But you'd have studs, and you can just put nuts and bolts in it. Forget that one. I'll leave that. I'll sort that one out later on. I ain't got time for that today. I ain't got time for that, old Johnny boy. Right. Right. Here comes gasket time. Right, where's that piece of cloth? Let's mop that up a bit. Oh, look at that. We're going to have to peel off that. Where's that gone? Right, I'm going to have to peel off. Can you see what I'm doing? Am I close enough? Or do you want me to zoom in or what? Just let me know what you want. I'll do it. Right, let's peel off this other bit of gasket. It's very important. It's not a good idea, really, to put a gasket on top of old gasket, if you know what I mean. A gasket on top of old gasket material, because well, this is just never going to seal. A gasket needs a flat surface in order to do its sealing thing, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what you've got to do, really. I don't think it was that. Oh, come on, just... That's it, we're zoomed in. You probably still can't see, but... We're zoomed in, my friends, we're zoomed in. So, can you see now? No, you can't see a bloody dicky bird, can you? You can't see a bloody dicky bird. I need to get a better bench set up. That's what I need to do. Well, to be honest, I could do with doing a lot of things. Maybe one day I'll become a millionaire, you know, and I'll be able to have a workshop dedicated, and you know, it'll have a better bench with so I can set the camera up and you'll be able to see everything. And yeah, maybe that's a goal to have. I don't know. I'm the sort of person that has a lot of goals, nearly all of them completely unrealistic. So that's just me. So that kind of goal, although you should never give up on any goal, on anything, you know, if you've got a goal in life, never give up on it, always go for it and do it. Oh, there's 5 of them in there. Always go, oh, there's not, someone's had a few, probably me. Always go for them and never give up on your goals or achievements or whatever. But that is a bit of an unrealistic goal in my part, really, to be fair. I do have unrealistic goals. So, like that. Oh, bloody Jesus Christ, man. That goes in there. So we'll put the bolts in. Oh, bloody missed the hole. Oh, bloody hell, it's been years since I've done that. Right. Not allowed near many holes these days. Right, let's put that there. Gasket can go over the studs first because it's a lot easier if you put the bolts in first, and then you can put the gasket over the threads on the bolts, right? Poke the bolts all the way through. I'm telling you all this, but you can't see a dicky bird, can you? Poke the bolts all the way through, yeah? And then you can put the exhaust up to it, like that. Put your Allen key on the other side. And that way your gasket's held in place. If you're trying to hold the gasket on and thread it all through all at the same time, the gasket is going to want to try and escape. And a lot of the time they do escape, and then you end up ripping it, or you might put it on uneven, or any kind of rubbish like that, and then you're just causing yourself a spot of bother. And remember not to do one side up tight before you do the other side up. Always do them up evenly. So you go that one a little bit tight, and then you go that one a little bit tight, and then you go that one a little bit tight, and then you go that one a little bit tight. It's gone. Right. There we go, and I might have to nip them up a little bit more later on. So there we go. That is good. I'm confident we're happy with that. Let's just have a little bit of a tidy up because we're making a bit of a mess as we go along. Let's zoom out ever so slightly. Right, so I need to find some batteries for the transmitter because I haven't got any batteries for the transmitter. Here's the receiver, and that, it's not going to matter really what way round it goes, but we'll have this one as the output for the battery. Negative always goes on the outside of the receiver, as you know anyway, I'm sure you do. And on these ones it tells you anyway. We need a bloody bind plug. Oh my giddy aunt, where's the bind plug? Here it is. Got a whole drawer full of them. Right, let me go and get some batteries for the transmitter. Right, batteries are in the transmitter. There's receiver battery there. We can plug that into this switch, which is probably no good, but we'll see. You've always got to think, why do people sell things? Is it because oh, excuse me. Is it because something's no good? You just don't know. So you have to be vigilant, as they say. Blind plug goes in that one. I always bloody forget about the blind plug. Always forget about the blind plug. I don't know if I need it. Actually, let's turn it on first, because I don't know if this one's already bound. No, it's not bound. No, it's bloody not bound, is it? It's not bound. Of course it's not bound. Nothing is ever bound. Turn that off. What was I saying? Oh, I've forgotten already. Channel 3. Yeah, that one. So, do that. Turn that on. Now we should turn that off. Turn that off. Take that out. Turn that on. Turn that on. And it's not going to work, is it? Because I haven't got anything plugged in. Of course it's not going to work. I haven't got any servos plugged in. Ah, my giddy aunt. Right, throttle is working and brakes are working. Put in the comments, I want to hear from you. How many of you have done that? I've done it endless times. So many times. You plug a receiver in, you fanny around for a bit, and then you go, why aren't the bloody servos working? Nothing's working. And you're here with the transmitter going, why ain't bloody nothing working? And it's because you haven't plugged them in. I don't know. Right, well, it's a bit slow, but that could be because this battery's very, very, very flat, which is very possible. What are we? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, well, it's not flat. It's 74%, so it's not flat at all. That's a good battery, that one. So it will be the steering servo is probably a bit slow. It's a bit loose. Let's do that up. Don't want that coming out, because if that screw comes out, it could strip the splines on the servo. Well, not the servo, on the servo, but also in the the horn. So anyway, let's put that there. I'm not really sure if the receiver's supposed to go. Well, the battery won't fit in that one anyway, so the receiver's going to go under there, underneath that switch. All these bloody wires are going to go there. I'm going to have to sort those out before we go for a test drive, because well, they're going to end up getting caught in the throttle, and we don't want that, because even the failsafe won't stop that from running away. That'll be a runaway no matter what. You know, we won't be able to stop that. That'll be a jim jam, whatever you want to call it. So let's see. We got throttle. We got brakes. We have. See, I don't know what's going on with that. Something's. Yeah, we've got. We seem to have diff problems, I reckon. Yeah, we've got diff problems, because when we turn that, nothing happens. So we've got an issue within our diff, in the center diff. The problem's in the center diff, not in the rear diff or the front diff. The problem's in the center diff. But we can move on from that. Well, that'll have to be another video, because I'm not messing around with that today. That is for another day. Fanning around with that another day. So let's see. We've got working servos. The steering's a bit slow, but we can sort it out. We've got good throttle brakes. Let's fire it up. And oh, we've got to sort that out. Why is that? Right. So the throttle. Don't know whether you can see. Can you see that? Probably not. What about now? I reckon you should be able to see now. So the throttle, when the transmitter's on tick over, I'm not touching it, and the trim is on 0. I don't know if you can see that or not. The trim's on 0 there. We're on about half throttle, which is not good. So I could fix that by messing with that, or I can fix that by simply taking off the horn like this and setting the throttle to 0, brakes to 0, and putting the horn back on. Trim's at 0. Yep, it's definitely at 0. We're now at tick over. I put the horn, so the servo should, because I said the servo trim's at 0, so that's in neutral position, which should be halfway between left and right, or brake and throttle, which is tick over. You know, it's neutral, it's in the middle. So now what we should get when we should get full throttle, which we do, goes back to tick over, which it does, brakes, well, which we do, but we've got to sort out the diff, so we're not worried about that yet. Yeah, that's that. That goes back to tick over. Right, let's fire it up. Make sure our exhaust... Oh, bloody hell, look, I nearly left you zoomed in again. Now, remember when I done that a few weeks ago? Yeah, I was here. I done something, then I forgot that you lot were zoomed in. And I'm still doing stuff, and all you could see was literally, it was like that. That was pretty much all you could see, and I'm doing stuff, and you didn't have a clue what I was doing, right? I'm doing everything, and you were still zoomed in. Man, I thought to myself, I'm going to have to cut that out, but then you would have missed so much, so I left it like it was. I bet people are watching it who don't really watch me that often, watching it thinking, what a bloody clown. Well, that's what I am a clown. I mean, everybody knows that. But, you know, I bet people are thinking, what's this all about? What's bloody left us zoomed in for? What a cock. Oh, look, I found an elastic band. That's cool, isn't it? Right, so we need we should still be primed from earlier, but we'll give it another blast. Jesus Christ, that shot in there like a rocket. Right, let's see if our exhaust gasket's done the trick. I reckon it should have done. I also want to look at the clutch. I've just realised I've forgotten to put the little screw in that holds the exhaust in place. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go and get the heat gun and I'm going to heat it up. Now, I know it seems to be a controversial topic. I've had a few people say to me that heating engines up isn't a good idea. Which is bollocks. I can't grasp how anyone can say that's not a good idea. See, what you've got to think is, the world is full of all different types of people, and all different types of people think about all different types of things, and people think and they believe in all different things. An engine gets hot when it runs. An engine needs heat to be able to run properly. By heating it up, you're not doing anything of any kind of damage. You're not doing anything at all. By heating it up, all you're doing is giving it a bit of a head start. Think of it this way. You're in bed, okay? You're in your nice warm home, yeah? It's heated up, you've got central heating. Forget about the energy costs and all that rubbish. We're in an ideal world now, okay? Nice and warm to whatever temperature you desire. You're in bed, you wake up in the morning, you get out of bed, it's nice and warm, your muscles are all free, you get out, you have a good old stretch, and you're ready to jump around and enjoy the day. Now, think of it this way. It's the morning, you're in bed, you're outside, it's cold, 0 degrees, 2 degrees. You open them covers, you get out. It's all cold, your muscles are all stiff and you have to, and you're trying to stretch but it's very stiff. You've not got a lot of enthusiasm to go and do anything, you're walking around, you're all stiff, yeah? I know. An engine's made of metal. It hasn't got feelings or a brain. I know. But it's a similar thing. you can very easily tear a muscle, pull a muscle, rip a muscle, do some damage when your muscles are cold. Same with an engine. When it's cold and it starts up, alright, they're designed to be started from cold, I'm fully aware of this. But a lot of the wear happens when it's cold, okay? Something 70% of an engine's wear occurs on cold startup, okay? It's a known fact. It's very simple. So by heating it up, you're not doing anything, you're not causing any kind of addiction. It's not going to want to be heated up every time you start it up, okay? And with engines like this, if you've rebuilt it, if it hasn't been running for a while, if it's been ticking over for a long period of time, sometimes it needs a little bit of heat just to get it going again. Bit of a head start, okay? So it must be a thing at the moment. I've been getting a lot of comments on videos where I've been heating engines up before I start them. Oh, you shouldn't do that. It's a bit like the old starter fluid thing, you know? When people say you should never spray starter fluid or ether into an engine, it becomes addicted. Addicted? No, it bloody well doesn't, my friends. The reason why people say an engine, it's an old wives' tale. Because back in the day, if you start an engine like an old tractor or something, with a bit of starting fluid, a bit of ether, or whatever it is you've got in the country where you live, they can become to only start with that. If you don't spray it in, they won't start. That's not because it's addicted to that. It's because it's got a problem. Usually a fueling problem, if it's a diesel. By spraying that in, you're giving it the kick it needs to start, and once it's started, the pressure's enough and it can run. But the problem doesn't go away, and the problem just gets worse the more it's ran. So then every time you need to spray it, otherwise it won't start. And it becomes to a point where it simply will not start without the spray. And people just go, become addicted to it now, that's it, the engine's had it. Not at all. If you fix the problem, probably the injection pump, if it's a diesel, if you fix the injection pump, the pressures are back to normal again, or the injectors or whatever the problem is. If you fix the problem, it will start by itself without any problems. So, there we go. A little bit off topic, but let's get back to what we were doing. Sorry, I forgot to press the record button, but I've just heated it up a little bit. Didn't give it a lot of heat, just gave it a little bit because it is chilly in here. It is, I think the temperature outside is about -2, so it's, I've got the heater on, so, but it's not that far off that. Probably in there, it's probably about 1 or 2 degrees. Anyway, I don't care about temperature. I don't cause a bloody monkey. Let's put that on. Here we go. Throttle. Might need a little bit of throttle, look. Tico was a bit low. I did lower it before in the last video, if you remember, because it was way too high. So I did lower it a little bit. Where's the screw gone? Is that the screw? Oh, it's there. Bloody trying to turn some random piece of metal. I thought it was the screw, but it's not. Right. Let's put that back. Yeah, there's an issue in that diff, so we might have to take that apart and have a look. The engine itself is full of oil. Or maybe there's not a problem in that diff. I think that's brilliant. That's running an absolute dream, if you ask me. There's a bit of cloth there to stop the oil going in the drawer. Yeah, that's running lovely. I know the mesh is a bit tight, I'll sort that out. I thought there was a problem with it, but there's obviously not. It's been working fine. Ticking over well, running well. That clutch has got a wear in. Once that clutch is worn in, we'll be alright. Sounds lovely, sounds very nice. Very, very happy with that. Let's see if that gasket's alright. Oh yeah, that gasket's fine. That's sealing well. You always know if the gasket's not sealing properly on the manifold there, because when you put the finger over the exhaust to stop it, it'll keep running like it did in the other video, or it might leak or run for a little while. But that is sealing absolutely wonderfully. The head bolts seem to be sealing nicely, so we don't seem to have any problems. I need to find a way of securing the battery in there and the receiver. I can put an aerial tube on there to make me aerial alright. And then we can go for a test drive with it. It'll probably be in a few weeks' time. I've got an air filter to put on that. Don't worry about that. I am going to put an air filter on it. I'll either, I think I might, well no, that one ain't got a thing on the end of it. Well, that might even go on it. That one there, what's that one? I might be able to jam that on there, but it's the wrong size really. But I have got a Habeo one I might stick on it. I just got to find it. It's somewhere. What's this one? That's a Habeo one. It's not the one I was after, but it's a Habeo one. That will go on there. Put a cable tie around it. Straighten the foams out. If I straighten the foams out, there we go. I'll straighten that one out in a minute. Stick that on there with a cable tie around it. That's that air filter done. Man, I can't believe it. That is absolutely great. I'm trying to stay away from eBay at the moment, because I don't agree with their new terms and conditions and all the way they're doing things. I don't want to buy on it or sell on it. But I'll need to try and track down a lid for that and a lid for that. And once I've got the lids, it'll be a complete buggy. I've got the shell over there, as you know. So once I've tracked all that down, the lids and that, it'll be a complete buggy. And but I can still test drive it without the lids, but I'd like to get the lids. Hopefully this steering servo comes around and speeds up a little bit. I reckon it just needs to be used and it'll probably come back to life. It's a bit slow, but that'll be okay. I'm going to put some thread lock on the bolts that hold the engine in. And that's pretty much it, ready for a test drive, which is extremely exciting. I love it when things like this come together. So there we go, you lot. Oh, it's still on. I probably should turn it off before. Not that it matters, I can just recharge that battery, I suppose. Let's put that on there. That air filter was a bit big for it, really. The air filter was hitting the shell, but what a lovely buggy. And it's been a pleasure working on it, actually. And when that eventually sells to somebody, that'll be a shame to see that go. But I'm not going to be keeping it. It will be for sale in the not too distant future. It won't be on eBay, as I've just explained. So, yeah. Very nice, very nice. So, thanks for watching, you lot. Thanks for sticking around. If you like this sort of thing, think about actually sticking around. You can find a little button to press or something like that that will help you to stick around. So, there'll be a test drive. Well, we know the clutch works. We know it's all good and dandy now, so it is only a test drive that needs to be done. There will be a test drive video coming up on it soon when I next get the chance. I can't say when, probably in the next week or so. So, there we go, my friends. Enjoy yourselves, love life, treat people nicely, treat people how you'd like to be treated, and we should have a nice, happy life with any luck. Cheerio.